Hare Krishna, Shila Gurudev, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj. My humble obeisances. You are very welcome, Maharaj. Today we won't be able to play Prabhupada because I'm using my phone. Okay. And so you can just chant Radha Madhava and start the class. Ganga Prasad will help to moderate for today.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu Ganga, I'm giving you host. Thank you so much.
Don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Jai Radha Madhava Jai
It's 11 o'clock.
Gopi Jana Giri Yashodanandana Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Shama Sundar Shishimani Divine Discount Founder Chere Jagadguru Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Jayom Vishnupa Paramhamsa Pariva Jagacharya Hastutra Sutta Shishimani Divine Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ananda Guru Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Sura Haridasa Guru Ki Prem Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Swami Radha Krishna Bhakti Now be mindful Jagannath Puridan Yamuna Maiki Jai Ganges Maiki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Pramana All glories to Samaveta All glories to Samaveta All glories to Samaveta Glories to Shri Guru Sri Gauranga Fortitude Shanti Sri Krishna Gaura Karma Shakti Om Jnana Varandasya Ayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotam Evim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Asaprayesha Bodresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutam Asuluti Bhakti Bhavarti Naistigi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Jnana Yamina Salakana Chakshulamulitam Dena Asmai Sishvavena Chaitanya Krishna Kapitam Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Yatati Swam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Uttapadakam Sri Guru Sri Rupa Bhagavatam Sahagana Ramana Sri Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Valita Sri Visakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopi Sagopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavana Devi Namami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasinthidevata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama
Antara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 6. Conversation between Narada and Vyasudeva. Text number 35. Yamadidiri yoga patai. Kunda Sivaya Dharmadha Planeti Samadhi Yoga Kama Loka Kunda Sivaya Yadva Dharmadha Planeti
Mukunda Sevaya Yadware Tata Madana Samyati
Jama Adivihi. By the process of practicing self-restraint, by the system of yoga, mystic bodily power, to attain the godly stage. Karma, desires for sense gratification. Lobha, lust for satisfaction of the senses. Kata, kept. Muhu, always. Ukunda, the personality of Godhead. Sevaya, by the service of Yadva, as it is. Tata, like that. Atma, the soul. Adha, for practical purposes. Na, does not. Sati, satisfied. Translation and purport by the divine grace received Bhakti to Swami. It is true that by practicing restraint of the senses by the yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul. For this satisfaction is derived from devotional service to the personality of Godhead. Purport. Yoga aims at controlling the senses. By practice of the mystic process of bodily exercise, in sitting, thinking, feeling, willing, concentrating, meditating, and at last being merged into transcendence, one can control the senses. The senses are considered like venomous serpents, and the yoga system is just to control them. On the other hand, Narada Muni recommends another method for controlling the senses in the transcendental living service of Mukunda, the personality of Godhead. By this practice, by his experience, he says that devotional service to the Lord is more effective and practical than in the service of the Lord Mukunda. The senses are transcendentally engaged. Thus, there is no satisfaction. The senses want some engagement. To check them artificially is no check at all, because as soon as there is some opportunity for engagement, the serpent-like senses will certainly take advantage of it. There are many such instances in history, just like Bishop Mitra when he is falling a victim to the duty of Menaka. But Thakura Haridas was allured at midnight by the well-dressed Maya, and still she could not induce that great devotee into her trap. The whole idea is that without devotional service of the Lord, neither the yoga system nor dry philosophical speculation can ever become successful. Pure devotional service of the Lord, without being tinged with fruitive work, mystic yoga, or speculative philosophy, is the foremost procedure to attain self-realization. Such pure devotional service is transcendental in nature, and the systems of yoga and dhyan are subordinate to such process. When the transcendental devotional service is mixed with a subordinate process, it is no longer transcendental, but is called mixed devotional service. So Vyasade, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, will gradually develop all these different systems of transcendental realization in the text. That is the end of Srila Prabhupada's text 35 of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversation Between Narada and Vyasade. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Welcome to all the devotees present all over the world. We value your association and we beg your blessing so we can say something. For everyone's satisfaction. Narada Muni is speaking his realizations to his disciples, Vyasade. And Vyasade himself, he can see from his own experience that after compiling enormous literature, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, the Itihasas, he was still feeling incomplete. For him to do that, it is not ordinary. It needs great empowerment and a serious practice of sense restraint to be able to rise to his platform or to be empowered by the Supreme Person of God to represent him. It means they have practiced controlling the senses for a long time. And he was, yet he was not completely satisfied. Something was missing. So Narada Muni, an experienced self-realized devotee, he's telling us, by using Vyasade, he's telling us, it is true that by practicing restraint of the senses by yoga system, one can get, the yoga system is made for that, to help us control the senses, to subdue the senses. Dr. Moody said, yes, this process is there. There are varieties of methods recommended in the scriptures to control the senses. Dr. Moody said, although these processes are there, they are there and many people are following, we still see some fault in it. We still see something which is missing in these processes. And he is recommending that. And Prabhupada mentioned that he is speaking from his experience. The senses are very, very stubborn, obstinate. That's the nature of the senses. Every sincere person can testify to that. The senses are very, very stubborn. Senses. While one is trying his or her best to control the senses remain very, very stubborn. The Christian made it like that. Christian made it like that. Why? To show us a difference. When you look at the scriptures very carefully, what do you see? Powerful, formidable demon, very powerful. That even the greatest person in the universe is afraid of it. The Krishna came as a small boy and killed all of them. It's a message Krishna is passing down. It's a message Krishna is passing down. The senses are very strong, powerful. But the process of devotional service to Krishna, practiced by simple devotees, not sophisticated devotees, but simple devotees can accomplish that which the greatest yogi cannot accomplish. Krishna made it like that. Lord Brahma himself, who is the greatest person, the greatest mystic, the greatest practice of self-control, Lord Brahma. He still realized that it is difficult to control the senses without Krishna. No conditioned soul has the power to transcend Maya. There's no conditioned soul has the power that will control Maya. No conditioned soul can control Maya, none. Brahma himself, he came under the influence. Maya, his own mystic power. So Brahma came under the influence. Who else can have the ability to do that? Nobody. Except one who is not a conditioned soul. So we have Dhira like Lord Shiva. He is a Dhira. He is not under the influence of Maya. Brahma is under the influence of Maya. All the sages and demigods are under the control of Maya. All. So it is a formidable enemy, Maya. So Naramuni recommends a different process. And I give an example. On the other hand, Narada Muni recommends another method for controlling the senses in the transcendental loving service of Mukunda, the personality of Godhead. Which process? By his experience, he says that devotional service to the Lord is more effective and practical than the system of artificially controlling the senses. artificially controlling the senses means what? Artificial process. If you cut the tree down, it's artificial way to control the tree. If you cut the grass down, it's artificial way to control. The best way to control it, uproot everything completely. Uproot. If you uproot the tree and chop them into pieces, there is no chance of germinating. You uproot the grass, uproot them completely down, dry them and burn them, there's no chance of germinating. If there's any tree, any weed, it is different. Not the one which has been cut, uprooted from the tree and dried and burned into fire, into ashes. It will be a different one. So Lord Muni recommended here a different process, devotional service of Krishna. In the service of the Lord Mukunda, the senses are transcendentally engaged. Not cutting the trees or cutting the grasses. It's uprooting. This is the best process that the Muni is recommending. Devotional service to Lord Krishna. Is a process by which one can completely uproot the tree that there is no chance of germinating. Why? Lord Muni used the word Mukunda. Lord Krishna is the only person who can give liberation. Devotional service for Krishna is the only process one can completely uproot the tree. So in the Bhagavatam, you see an intelligent disciple like Parikshit Maharaj rejected Prayasthita, the process of atonement. It's not sufficient. The process of yoga is not sufficient. The process of jnana is not sufficient to uproot the seed of sin or the desire for a sinful life. It's not sufficient. It is considered all artificial processes. Why? The process of jnana has some selfish interest. The process of yoga also has some selfish interest. But the process of bhakti does not selfish interest. That's the difference. There is no selfish interest in the process of bhakti. Therefore, Narada Muni said this is the only bona fide process that should be followed by those who are very intelligent and those very fortunate. They should follow the process of bhakti. And Prabhupada gave example of Bishop Mitra Muni. He's always given example. His name is always given as a preferred example. Bishop Mitra Muni. Bishop Mitra Muni, he practiced austerity for 60,000 years before he fell down. 60,000 years practicing controlling the senses. It is after 60,000 years of practicing controlling the senses that the Bishop Mitra Muni fell down to Minaka. How many years have you practiced austerity? How many years were practicing chanting Hare Krishna? Bishop Mitra Muni, 60,000 years, continuously. When he met Menaka, he couldn't control, he came down. He surrendered to Menaka. After 60,000 years. That's not a joke. That should be a good signal for everyone who is interested in Krishna consciousness or the process of self-realization. So it's not thing that when you say he fell down, it's not just that he just chanted Hare Krishna for a few years, fell down, 60,000 years. It's not a joke. Not only that, When he transcended this, not falling again to lust, again he fell into anger. Not only that, although he has controlled the lust, he controlled anger, he also fell into false ego. He was going to kill the Vasishtha Muni because Vasishtha Muni failed him to be a Brahmana. After practicing for such a long time, he went for examination. After sitting for examination, Vasishtha Muni failed him. You are not qualified yet. Certain things are still missing in you. And to prove that, he wanted to kill Vasishtha Muni. Is that one who has control over the senses? No. This is after 60,000 years. He still has this fault. So he has to intensify his effort in practicing until he has the mercy of Vasishtha Muni by repenting. He repented. When he was planning to go and kill Vasishtha Muni, when he got there, Vasishtha Muni was glorifying him. The person you want to kill is speaking about their good qualities and glorifying you in a symbol of sages. How will you feel? Love conquers hate. Only love can conquer hate. So Vasishtha Muni conquered him and he surrendered and repented. Then Vasishtha Muni qualified him as a Brahmana. Until he repented by the costly mercy of Vasishtha Muni. So, practice of self-restraint or controlling the senses is possible by the mercy of pure devotees who are guiding us on this process. Alone, we cannot make it. Therefore, we see our charity praying. Alone, I have not strength to chant the holy name. I have no strength to practice Bhakti Yoga. I have no strength to meditate upon you. I have no strength to serve you to the full satisfaction. Therefore, I'm begging for a cosmic mercy, begging for mercy. We saw Vishwamitra Muni begging the mercy. And the Vasishtha Muni blessed him. Then he became qualified. We need a mercy. On our own, we cannot. So Bhakti is recommended. Why Bhakti? The Bhakti, apart from the fact that Bhakti is a process of selflessness, the process of no selfishness. Bhakti is practiced under able masters who are fully compassionate upon those who are practicing compassion. They have mercy. So Buddhists are always begging, crying for mercy. Because this is the property of the pure devotees. Opposite Vishwamitra Muni is Amacharya Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur did not perform austerities for 60,000 years. What Haridas couldn't do in his previous birth as the Brahma, he did it as a devotee without all the material qualifications. Materially speaking, Haridas Thakur cannot be compared to the Brahma. He is not a Brahmana. not Gyani. He's nobody, materially speaking. He's nobody. But because Harida Sekura is the great devotee of Krishna, it's a devotee. What he couldn't do as the Brahma, he did it as Harida because he's a devotee. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Harida Sekura, the Vedas are residing in your heart. You are the abode of the Vedas. Therefore, I am requesting you, please speak the glory of the holy name for me. Harida Sakura said, my Lord, you are requesting an unfit person to speak our song, the exalted subject matter. I am not a fit person for this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are the abode of the Vedas. The Vedas are residing in you. Every activity you perform is confirmed in the Vedas. You are Namacharya. You can speak the glories of the holy name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't ask the Gyanis. He didn't ask the Brahmanas. He didn't ask the Yogis. He asked him how did that stop. Well, materially speaking, nobody. But because he's a devotee, he's somebody. The exalted personality that the world is looking for. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Harida, he speak to me the glories of the holy name. He Harida Sekura is so humble, down to earth, naturally humble. He did not reject his service. This is humility. Harida is not saying, oh my Lord, yeah, I sing this such an exalted subject matter from unfit, unqualified person. Hey, my Lord, please, I cannot say anything. Harida didn't say that. He accepted his position. He accepted the request of the Lord, and he spoke the glories of the Supreme, the glories of the holy name, the praise of the Supreme Personality of God. So our humility should not disqualify us from doing bhakti or what is right. That is no more humility. It is something else. Ignorance, laziness, not humility. So Maya came to Haridas. Hey, Haridas Sakura. Don't say that I'm a shameless woman approaching you for a relationship. Don't say like that. Let me tell you the truth. Your beauty, there is no woman on earth that is not attracted to you. It's just I'm the first person to come before you. So don't think that I'm just a shameless woman. I'm a smart guy. That is the only thing. I'm very smart that I have to come first before others. But let me tell you, all is attracted to you. So you are Banta Kalpataru Kripasami Dekacha. But they don't know part of you. You are Kalpa Brisha. You fulfill everyone's desire. What about me? What about me? Huh? I'm also a candidate for your mercy. Nobody is so fallen like me. So I need your mercy. You fulfill everyone's desire. Please fulfill my desire. Yes? A pure devotee, they fulfill everyone's desire. And Krishna fulfills everyone's desire. But Krishna does not satisfy our greed. That is not his business. The business of sadhu is not to satisfy people's lust. The business of the sadhus or Christians is to help us remove the lust, the greed. But here, Maya said, you are Kappa Pressure Tree, you fulfill everyone's desire. What about me? Fulfill my desire. How do I say, oh, great. That is true. You are perfectly describing the qualities of Vaishnava. You sit down. Just sit down. Let us do the first thing first. A devotee should not be distracted. A devotee should not be distracted. That shows the strength of our practice, that one is not distracted by any system might be present before us. A devotee is not distracted. It is the strength or the proof of our practice. Everything there is an examination. Everything. Every school we go, there is examination. What is exam? Examination is the obstacles Maya will present before us in the course of our practice. So that's the question. We were never distracted because of the quality of his bhakti. So how did I say, my dear, don't worry. That is the nature of devotee. Sit down. Let us do the first thing first. After that, the next thing is you. I will fulfill your desire. So Haridas chanted the pure name into the ear of Maya Devi. He chanted the pure name with great compassion for a person who is supposed to be considered an enemy. She's supposed to be considered an enemy, like Bishop Mittal Muni. You rascal, I curse you to become a stone. Haridas did not cause Maya to become anything. Rather, Haridas Thakur chanted the pure name out of compassion into the ear of the Maya Devi. And the mantra, the pure name of Krishna, entered into the ear, to the heart, through the ear, into the heart, and transformed that lusty desire that was there into bhakti. For 3 days, Haridas Thakur made a devotee, a pure devotee in 3 days. 3 days. Pure devotee. That's the strength of Haridas Bhakti. So Maya Devi said, my dear Haridas, you cheated me, you are a cheater. Haridas said, yeah, I'm a cheater. What did I do? Maya Devi said, when I appear before sages and open my eyes before I close it, all the sages are open my senses. I spent 3 days with you, I couldn't do you anything. You cheated me. Why? Because you have Krishna in your heart. Three days, I couldn't influence your body, influence me. That's the spirit, which is the force. How did that transform her in 3 days? So she confessed. I have never appeared before sages and any one of them refused me. Even you. Only you could do this. Because Lord Krishna is resting. Lord Krishna has more this in your heart. Krishna is sitting here, therefore I couldn't give you anything. And she requested for initiation. So this is a devotional service. The whole idea is that without devotional service of the Lord, and neither the yoga system nor dry philosophical speculation can ever become successful. But pure devotional service of the Lord, without being things with people, missing yoga, or speculative philosophy, is a famous procedure to attain self-realization. So pure devotional service is transcendental in nature. Transcendental in nature. The nature is transcendental. Because there is no selfishness. There is no selfishness inside. It is only for Krishna's satisfaction. It is only the interest of Krishna a devotee looks for. A devotee does not look for any interest, only the interest of Krishna. So it is transcendental by nature.
Looks like Maharaj's network is not stable. We'll just have to wait. Haribo Prabhuji's, Mataji's, please be patient. Maharaj's network is unstable. We'll be back soon.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Sorry for the disconnection. I'm back. So you can hear me?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
So the process of hearing and chanting about Krishna from pure devotees is a bona fide and a doubtless process for all. And simply taken to this, like Haridas Thakur demonstrated, one can surpass the position attained by Bishop Mitra Muni and beyond that, and come to the stage of loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is a process recommended here by Narada Muni. Hare Krishna. Comments or questions?
We request devotees to indicate a raise of hand if they have questions.
There is one question.
Kesav Das Prabhu, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you. Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the nice class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
My question, Maharaj, we're told that when Krishna sees that a practicing devotee is sincere, then he personally directs Maya Devi to back off, leave us alone. So
yes,
why then would Haridas Thakur, somebody at his spiritual, why would somebody of Haridas Thakur's spiritual stature be challenged by Maya?
That is the way Krishna shows the quality of his devotees. Krishna glorifies his devotees by putting them in a situation like this. So Krishna feel gratified. See my devotee, see what they can do. See, nobody can do my devotees anything. So it's the glorification of Haridas, not a temptation or a challenge for Haridas. That is his glory for his own glorification, so that we can also learn from him the process of bhakti as clearly distinguished from
other processes of like Gyan and Yoga. Krishna will not use a conditioned soul to represent him. Krishna will always use a pure devotee to represent him, because they will always set the perfect standard. Were used to show us the way. The example. If you don't have a person to look up to, the journey could be very difficult, or it may also weaken our enthusiasm. But when we see someone in our front who has passed through the same system and is successful, it's a very good way of creating enthusiasm for those who are coming from behind, also to encourage us to continue that this process actually works, because we have examples.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. There is a question from here. Moderator, there is a question from here.
Okay, Maharaj.
All right. Question from Amrit Gopal Prabhu.
Okay, it's free to ask.
Fruitive work is one of the processes mentioned as one we do without. We have to do that. Fruitive work.
We all even come to the example with us.
And we know that without a contribution, yes, even to do bhakti, we need something in the stomach, which is fruitive. Thank you for your question. What is fruitive? Fruitive means like in Africa, where you work is where you eat. This is a selfish and destructive mentality. Yes. Where you work, where you talk, it's destructive mentality. And that is affecting many of us.
Your mic is off.
We lost Maharaj again. Please be patient. We'll get him back.
Prabhuji is here. I think his mic is off. Yeah.
His network.
Yes. We're explaining that fruitive work means anything I do, I must get the result. I must take some percentage of it. That is what you say fruitive. It's not about not doing something. Or Gita said, one cannot say without acting. Even to take care of this body, we need to work to do something. That is not the problem. The problem is what I have worked for, I must take it. I must enjoy it. It is called fruitive. So what is the selflessness here? Without selflessness, we cannot please Krishna. Not even please Krishna. We can even please ourselves. Before you talk about Krishna, ourselves, we can even please, because when we want to get something from everything we do, for example, the scripture recommends giving charity. It's recommended in the scripture to give charity. It's okay. Now I want to give you charity so that
I'll get some blessing from you to go to heaven for better sense gratification. How is that helping me in the ultimate sense? So, therefore, it is condemned. Working is not condemned because you have to work, you have to do something. But we should work and consider that the person who gave us the strength to work, the person who gave us the intelligence to work, the person who is providing everything that we consider to be considered to be our property, that person should be recognized. And we cannot recognize him until we practice selflessness. So that is the danger. Right? So selflessness is important. That brings purification. Selfless. That's why the Christian recommends so many things to do so that we can become free. Clearly, in Barogation location to June, you have the right to work. That right you have. But the profit, you don't have the right. Because that profit belongs to me. If you give it to me, and giving to Christian means what? We need to understand. We should try to understand. Giving to Krishna means what? Giving to Krishna means that we are giving the sinful result of all this karma we have performed to Krishna, and Krishna bless us. This we are doing every day, but we don't realize what we're doing. For example, when you cook your food, what do you do? As a devotee, after you finish cooking, what do? You give it to Krishna. And what did Krishna do? He eats everything and forgets you. Krishna takes all the sin away. Because the seed and the vegetable, everything you use in preparing that, they are all life. So Krishna will liberate those souls because you have given to him. And what did he do? He gave us back the mercy. Mercy means what? Free, sinless source of our maintenance. So what is wrong with Krishna? Telling us, give me everything. What's wrong with that? The problem is that ignorance. We don't understand. So we need understanding. To understand, we need to approach the Tattva that sees. Those who know, they can guide us, they can help us, they can lead us. Otherwise, we will remain in the circle of socialism, in the circle of sin, rotating in the sinful deity, sinful activity, sinful life, in all civilization. Right? Next question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, obeisance at your lotus feet, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. In the course of your
It's
lecture,
12.
you mentioned that Vishwamrita performed austerity for 60,000 years. That is very significant. But I was just trying to probe and see, and in the end, he fell into different challenges. So in the course of our performing devotional service also, sometimes we use how long as measurement and not the quality or the content of what we are supposed to be doing. I just want you to buttress or throw light on this. I've been a devotee for 30 years. Is that the yardstick or the quality or the content of what we have practiced in the period we did devotional service?
Katanga Maharaj performed austerity, he practiced devotional service only for a moment. Just a moment. He went back to God. Now, the movie we are talking about, he practiced devotional service only 4 months. He went back to God. He became a pure devotee. His disciple, Dhira Maharaj, 6 months. And we just mentioned Maya Devi came to Harita Second for 3 days. Became a devotee, pure devotee. So a tree stands for years and years and years in one place. So a tree has a long life. So what is the value of that long life without bhakti? So pure devotees prefer to live a moment in Krishna consciousness than to live for years without Krishna. So it's not about how long we have been devotees, but for this time we have been devotees. What can we show? What can we show that this is what we have as our gain as a devotee? Are we living potently? That our Krishna consciousness is affecting thousands of people devotionally? Or we are moderations, somebody, or devotees? Or we are a source of distraction for devotees? Are we sources of distraction for devotees, for devotional service, or we are potent devotees that we are attracting and influencing devotees Krishna consciously, or people in general, Krishna consciously? That is a point to look at, not just the years we have spent. So Prabhupada said, what is the use of stars? One moon is better. One moon is better than millions of stars. So we are many years in the movement. Are we stars or we are the moon? Everyone should check and see. It is not the years. If you look very carefully, see pure devotee, this one we're discussing, pure devotee, even some incarnations of personality of Godhead, when they came to this matter, we lived a very, very short life. Look at the Damodara child, very short life. Chaitanya had 40 years. Only 40 years. Many devotees, many pure devotees, very short life. But they made a significant impact in people's life. The whole world, the whole universe are blessed by their purity. So while we are proud to count the years we have lived in the movement, we should be proud to count how many people are benefiting devotionally from our Krishna conscious years we have spent. How many people? What is the state of our Krishna consciousness? Disgruntled, dissatisfied, lonely, always complaining. Whatever comes from our mouth is not about Krishna, but something else, about our unfulfilled desires. Is that what we should be proud of being? We should be proud of being a pure devotee of Krishna, that is helping to cleanse the planet of these misfortunes. Many devotees are sacrificing their life to purify the planet for everyone, even including demons. People are making sacrifice to help everyone, including demons. That is a Krishna conscious personality we want to see, we want to be. Not just being in the movement as a burden, as a source of distraction for others. Full of complaints and never satisfied with anything, except himself or herself. That is not Krishna consciousness. It's actually that is hell. One musician he said, you think we are living in heaven, but actually we are living in hell. So I'm thinking I'm 40 years in a movement living in hell. Why? I'm always complaining. There is nothing which I have ever done wonderfully. That is hell. That is not what we want. We want to see the devotee is very happy in Krishna consciousness, and that happiness is spreading Krishna consciousness, constantly thinking how to spread the movement, how to make people take to Krishna consciousness, which way we can devise to bring people, more people to Krishna consciousness. That is what we should aspire to be or aspire for. That is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. The next question is from Sadev Prabhu. Sadev Prabhu, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Time you speak, for whatever the reason, it goes straight into your heart, and it stays there for a very long time. So the last answer you gave, I was actually discussing this with one devotee a few hours ago, that sometimes I actually think of myself.
Your lines are breaking. Your line is breaking.
Okay. All right. Can you hear?
It's still breaking.
It's still breaking?
I think it's better now. Speak again.
Is
Let's
it better?
see. No. Still
Okay. Yeah, I was saying I sometimes feel ashamed of myself that I've been in this movement for all these years, but there is really nothing to show to anybody that I've been in this movement for this much long. Because in any profession, if somebody works a particular job and works that job for 15 years, the person knows. And I've been in this movement for all these years, and yet something like seeing a devotee and expressing our opinion of seeing a devotee, I don't do that. So there is really nothing for me to boast of as long as I've been a devotee. But my question to you, Maharaj, is that Narada Muni was describing his experience with the Supreme Lord to his disciple Vyasadeva. And I believe by such description, all gave Vyasadeva more enthusiasm to follow his spiritual master. So will it be appropriate and would it be helpful, or would it be helpful if our gurus once in a while tell the disciples?
Maybe better if you can type your question first.
Maybe you should type. Your line is breaking. Type your question, please, or if you can adjust the internet.
Okay.
Line is breaking.
So you can cut them then.
Are you typing?
All right.
Line is still not stable. Bhakta Hassan.
Can you hear me now?
Before
no, it's still breaking. Still breaking. Bhakta Hassan, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay.
There is one question here. I want to address it first before you go to Dr. Hassan.
Okay, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj.
Excuse me, just a moment. Before you, there's one question here.
Hassan, please hold on.
Okay.
Harada Sakura, who exhibit exemplary behavior in terms of sense control, and we get encouraged hearing about them. But devotees often feel disheartened when, despite their several attempts and prayers to Krishna to control one's own senses, they find no success, and hence they don't feel eligible to take pure devotee or Dr. Darcy's help. How can they proceed in such a case? This is one question here. It's an interesting question. We should know that every prayers we make to Krishna, Krishna hears. And Krishna is making arrangement to help us. It did not take us one day to accumulate all the sinful reactions, the sinful activities we're experiencing now. It didn't take just 1 minute to do it. It took many lifetimes to accumulate all these things. It doesn't take us one day to grow to become an adult. It takes some years. So when we offer prayers to Krishna, when we pray to pure devotees, we know that the prayers have been heard by Krishna. And Krishna always answers the questions. You wait. But why would Krishna tell us to wait? Krishna wants us to show appreciation for what he has to do for us. Because if we know very well that something which we did not get with difficulty is not highly appreciated. Anything which you get very cheaply is not appreciated. And Rupa Goswami told us we should be patient. Why would he tell us to be patient? Why not become a pure devotee tomorrow? But how we will value that? The way we merit that, Katonda Maharaj merited it, he got it. But why is Krishna not answering our own question, our prayer for such a long time? Because we don't merit it. Therefore, Rupa Goswami said, you wait. And this from popular shloka from Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada always quote it. They took that, no camp. Here, Sukadeva Goswami mentioned a devotee who patiently wait for the mercy of Krishna while during this time of waiting, he says, is undergoing difficult challenges, but the devotee is patiently waiting, knowing fully well that yes, Krishna will deliver me. It is said, such a person stands to inherit the kingdom of God. That is his rightful or a rightful claim. But not a person who is challenging Krishna. Hey, Krishna, chance to sit down and finish. What is my bhakti? What is prema? But what is the quality of the Hare Krishna Mati of something? What is the state of our mind, our consciousness in chanting? We should be patient. We should be grateful to Krishna. We should be grateful. If we don't practice gratefulness, we will not succeed. We should be grateful to Krishna. Krishna has, out of the billions of people on this planet, Krishna has given a chance to participate in this work. So a devotee should continue to sincerely pray, Krishna, for whatever can be my case, let me stay with devotees so that one day your mercy will help me to trust. We should cultivate this mood. That is why the leadership course we are discussing is very important for devotees to get our mind properly groomed, properly prepared for what is expected of us. Before Krishna can do his own, we should also do our part very nicely. So instead of being discouraged, we should be encouraged that Krishna Krishna has given me such a wonderful opportunity to be here. So even though I'm not qualified, but at least I'm chanting Hare Krishna. And no one chant Hare Krishna and remain alone. Every aspect of devotional service which we practice sincerely, we have the result. The result is waiting for us. So we should be grateful to Krishna and continue to remain patient. Remain patient. Even though, yes, I have prayed, and my loss is still there, my anger is still there, my business says so. Maybe this is not working. Who told you it is not working? Who told you it is not working? If it is not working, why many people are practicing for many years? You can't do something for long if you're not getting some benefit, and not material or spiritual. So we should be patient. This is the word. We should be patient. So we wait for the mercy of Krishna to come. Krishna is looking at us. You are praying to me, but what are you doing with your life? If I give you pure love for God now, what will you do with it? Because I want to see that everything is completely done in a perfect way. So it should not be discouraged. All right?
Maharaj, you have two hands along with Dr. Hassan.
Okay.
Dr. Hassan, you may unmute and ask your question now. There are still two other people.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, my dear Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a very beautiful lecture. This is my first time of being in your WhatsApp Zoom lectures, and I'm so happy to be here. And the lecture today touches my heart a lot because the first time I went to the temple, the teacher was talking about Haridas Thakur, and it really touches my heart because of his background, where he comes from. I think I also come from the same background. So every time I hear something about Haridas, it just touches my heart, and it gives me a lot of enthusiasm to know more about him. Maharaj, my question is that, is it possible in our world today for a fallen soul to be converted, to become a pure devotee in 3 days? And
100% possible.
It's possible. And my second question is, for a fallen soul who don't know anything about Krishna consciousness, to become a very pure devotee, is it depend on the spiritual master or the devotee? This is my question.
But the devotee has to follow the instructions of the spiritual master and act exactly as he's being directed. So by doing that, we'll get it purified, gradually become completely pure. So it is a combined effort. The Guru is there to guide, and whatever instruction we are given, we follow it, and we'll get the blessings to become empowered, to become transformed, to become pure. There's a secret of success.
So
it's
possible for Krishna to do that.
It's possible for anyone. Haridas Thakur said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is possible for anyone from any background to become a pure devotee by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. It is possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Maharaj. I think I'm satisfied with the answer.
All right, thank you for being with us.
Maharaj, Prabhu Sadev already posted his question on the chat room. I don't know if you can read it before I call the two people.
If you have it, you can read it.
Okay, Maharaj, I'll just do that. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, thank you very much for your lecture. My question is, you made mention that a devotee should have a mentor. in a devotional service. My point is, as a neophyte, when that mentor fall on a devotional ladder, what should be the stand of that neophyte? Hare Krishna.
Okay. If one falls from the path,
His mentor. If the mentor falls, it takes a mentor, and the mentor falls on the path.
yes,
What should he do?
He should continue. He should take another mentor and continue. He should not give up, because we may come to Krishna consciousness, but we have a different background. We have a different karma. So someone may lead us to Krishna consciousness, and that person himself has no practice, but the person has reached us and made it a devotee. The person was used as a channel to bring us into Krishna consciousness. So we should continue. Take another one and continue. It is said that when one road is closed, many more roads are open. So we should take that. You should not say that, oh, one person has fallen, oh, everybody has fallen, therefore there's no need for this. That is a failure. That means we ourselves are not serious. But we should know that only one person. We should look at those who are not falling that around. So we should take another person and continue. Like we are traveling. If your car have other accident, you cannot say, oh, the road is bad, no need to travel. Just close the road and stop there. So you have to get another car and continue with the journey. Even if you have a wound, you fall. It's the same car, another car is going to take you to the hospital for treatment. So we have to continue. Next.
Nataraj Prabhu, you can unmute and ask your question. Nataraj Prabhu. Is Prabhu Nataraj there? Unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You hearing me? Okay.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you. Actually, your lecture was very, very inspiring. But there is something that sprang my question up from one questionnaire that was saying that he has spent so many years, but nothing to write home. I can tell you sincerely that I've had this statement from so many devotees. And at times also they say that Krishna consciousness spoiled their life. So Maharaj, what my question now is that, is Krishna consciousness to spoil one's life or to build or enhance one's life? And if that is the case, what advice do you have to all these devotees? Because many people are affected on this platform. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
And Isla Prabhupada said the whole world is made up of Sudras or less than Sudras. But he's starting the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to make Brahmanas. Brahmanas are the most intelligent people in the society. How is that a failure? They are not failure, they are success. So the movement is not to spoil someone's life. But as we mentioned before, someone can be here and living in hell. These are the people, these are the kind of people who are living in hell, but they think they're in Krishna consciousness. Why? Because our activities does not conform with the process of devotional service, with the process of Krishna consciousness. We have rules and regulations to be followed. So if one stays here and doesn't follow that, you're not going to make advancement. And then you will accuse somebody for you not making advancement. It is you who does not make advancement because you didn't follow the process. Those who follow the process are making advancement. If Krishna consciousness spoil their own life, why he doesn't spoil other people's life? Why is it that it's only your own life that the Krishna consciousness is spoiling? Before you join, there are many people who are very happy that Krishna consciousness made their life. And you join after those people, And these people are still here. They're not complaining and saying what we are saying. So the problem is with us, not with the movement. We didn't follow what we're supposed to do, what the movement teaches. Actually, many of us are destroying ourselves. It would have been better that we didn't come to this movement. It would have been better that we didn't come here. Because we came here to come and destroy ourselves. Like a child who does not know the importance of knife. Most of us are like this. We are stabbing ourselves. We are wounding ourselves seriously. Because we're doing something which is not, which is a disturbance to the movement itself. Therefore, how can the movement help us? It is a result of our safety. Therefore, those who feel like this should check themselves and give up all the unnecessary things which they are doing so that they can enjoy what other people are enjoying in this movement. Millions of people are very happy and satisfied that why I did not know this movement a long time back. Many people have this regret. Why? Because they're gaining. I wish I have known this movement before this time. I wouldn't waste my time outside. These are the devotees who are making advancement. And someone that is thinking, what did spoil my life? Look at your own life. You will see that you are not in this movement. You are a source of distractions in the movement. Therefore, Krishna allowed Maya to deal with you. And Krishna gave a lecture on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 20. A lecture proper mention. Have you come here to disturb Krishna, or you have come here to serve Krishna? If you are coming to disturb Krishna, Krishna will disturb you. If you are coming to serve Krishna, Krishna will free you from all that will entangle you and send back to Godhead. This movement is meant for that, to prepare us and to send us back to Godhead. By following that process. If you don't follow that, you're going to get more problems. So those devotees who are feeling like that, they should check themselves and give up all the unnecessary things. They should join this movement. They should now join this movement and experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Next question. Last one.
Maharaj, the last question I read was an oversight. Is from George Amega, not Sahadev. But I don't know if Prabhu Sahadev is still willing to ask his question if he's ready. But Rasalila Mataji is the next person who wants to ask question. Rasalila Mataji, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. My question was on the process of devotional service, specifically on advancement. Is it that advancement in devotional service is not or should not be measured by how many years someone has been in devotional service or been practicing Krishna consciousness, but it's on the level of humility that one has developed since practicing devotional service? Thank you.
Right. I'm always referring to Bhagavad Gita 4:34 purport. Always. It's my favorite. Yes, so purport clearly mentioned the secret of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Always. I repeatedly request devotees that we should read this every day. 4:34. Very important. Covers it. Probably explains everything very nicely. In the purport is Prabhupada said, one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender. And one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Satisfaction of the spiritual master. Satisfaction is the secret of advancement in Krishna consciousness. How can we satisfy that? Submission, service, and genuine inquiry. This is the qualities we need to have. And it is mentioned here with many a servant without false prestige. Such a special master should be accepted in full surrender, And one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is a secret to advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the zealous spiritual master will not be effective. This is a secret, not how many years. All right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Sadev Prabhu, I don't know if you are still ready and your internet is set. Since you didn't type your question, you can ask your question now.
Well, I hope I'll be clear this time.
Yeah, for now, yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Again, thank you, Maharaj. My question, I'll try to make it brief. My question was, Narada was describing his realization to his disciple, Vyasadeva. And I'm thinking that by such a description might have also given Srila Vyasadeva much more conviction to fully surrender to his spiritual master. So wouldn't it be helpful that our gurus of today maybe from time to time also share some of their realizations and experience to the devotees? Hare Krishna.
Yes. Devotees should approach the spiritual master and he will share realization. Different people. So you can ask questions. Naramuni is speaking because yes, question.
Maharaj, your line is
breaking. Naramuni yesterday asked him, so what did you do after they said this letter? After your initiation? What did you do? So Naramuni, what I have described now the questions. This is for you because this will also give you special master. This is I think it's time. So yes, I would say that you should approach the special master so he can.
All right, we are not hearing you. I think we lost Maharaj temporarily. Let's be patient.
Maharaj really tells it as it is. Wow.
I think we lost Maharaj. There's no sign that Maharaj is coming back now.
Well, Prabhu, I think my question actually wasn't like a question. So if you have to end the class, you may.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just give 1 more minute in case Maharaj will come back, but I'm doubting. Anyway, let all devotees unmute themselves. In the meantime, in 1 minute, we will chant a very powerful Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to appreciate Maharaj for blessing this platform. We'll wait for 1 minute. In the meantime, unmute yourselves, and then we chant very powerful Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Rama.
Haribo. Is that all right?